Hey, and welcome to A Gentle Chapter. Do you ever feel like you're on the outside looking in? Like you're watching the world through a pane of glass, seeing everyone else connect, succeed, and feel loved while you're just stuck, wondering what's wrong with you? There's that quiet, nagging voice that whispers, "You're not good enough, not smart enough, not interesting enough." That you are in some deep fundamental way inadequate. What if I told you that voice is lying? And what if a simple 5-minute daily habit could not only silence that voice, but actually rewire your brain to stop feeling so invisible and unloved? Sounds too simple to be true, but science behind it is going to change how you see yourself forever. For years, I was right there, battling the same deep seated belief that I wasn't worthy of the love or success that everyone else seemed to find so easily. It felt like a life sentence. But one small habit, and I'm going to share it with you today, truly changed everything. So, the why, understanding where inadequacy comes from. Before we can get to the how, we have to understand the why. Why do so many of us feel this way? That feeling of inadequacy isn't some personal flaw. It's usually a ghost from the past. For a lot of us, it starts in childhood. Maybe it was constant criticism, neglect, or just not having your emotional needs met. These early experiences create these deep unconscious beliefs that we're somehow unworthy. They become the invisible script that runs our lives, telling us we don't deserve to take up space. And then the world we live in cranks up the volume. We scroll through social media, a perfectly curated highlight reel of everyone else's wins, and our brain's natural tendency to compare goes into overdrive. We see their filtered perfection, hold it up against our messy, unfiltered reality, and the gap feels like a personal failure. That constant comparison, that feeling of being less than, it creates a state of chronic stress. Your brain's threat system, the part that controls your fight or flight response, gets switched on. This floods you with stress hormones like cortisol, keeping you anxious and reinforcing the belief that you're flawed or unsafe. The harsh inner critic takes over, and its only job is to tell you you're not good enough. But here's the most damaging part: that self criticism doesn't motivate you, it just convinces you that there's something fundamentally wrong with you, that you're flawed, weak, and unworthy of connection. But here's the promise: you can build a new voice inside your head. You can physically change your brain's response. Practicing compassion can rewire your neural circuits to better regulate your emotions, slash your stress, and build genuine resilience. This isn't just about thinking positive, it's about fundamentally changing the relationship you have with yourself. The habit that makes this happen is a type of meditation, but maybe not the kind you're picturing. You don't need a quiet mountaintop or hours of silence. It's powerful science backed by a practice called loving kindness. This practice is all about intentionally cultivating feelings of warmth, kindness, and goodwill, starting with yourself, and then extending that feeling out to others. So, why does this work so well? against that deep, painful feeling of inadequacy because it's the perfect antidote to the brain's negativity bias. Its tendency to be like Velcro for bad experiences and Teflon for good ones. When you practice loving kindness, you are actively training your attention to focus on positive emotions. And this does incredible things to your brain. Neuroscience shows us this practice actually increases gray matter in the parts of your brain responsible for empathy and managing your emotions. It also boosts the release of powerful feel-good chemicals. It increases oxytocin, often called the love hormone, which helps you feel trust, bonding, and connection. It also boosts dopamine, which just makes you feel good. At the same time, it lowers the stress hormone cortisol and quiets down the part of your brain that loves to self-judge and overthink. You are literally switching your brain from its threat defense system to its caregiving system. You're teaching it on a cellular level that you are worthy of kindness and care. This isn't about pretending you don't have flaws. It's about meeting your whole self, your strengths and your struggles, with your warmth instead of judgment. It is quite simply the ultimate answer to that inner critic. So let's break it down into 3 simple, easy to follow steps. This is the framework you can start using today. Step 1, the foundational action. 5 minutes. It's the core of the habit. Find a comfortable spot where you can sit for 5 minutes without being interrupted. This could be on your bed first thing in the morning, on a park bench, or even in your parked car. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and just let your body settle. First, call to mind a feeling of warmth or appreciation. Think about the feeling of the sun on your skin, the comfort of a warm cup of tea, or the love you feel for a pet. Just hold that gentle feeling for a moment. Now, you're going to direct that warmth toward yourself using a few simple, silent phrases. The traditional phrases are great places to start. Repeat them slowly, letting the intention behind the words really sink in. Silently say to yourself, may I be safe, may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I live with ease. Don't worry if you don't feel some huge wave of emotion right away. The goal isn't to force the feeling, but simply to offer the intention. You're planting seeds. Some days the ground will feel fertile, other days it will feel like concrete. Just repeat the phrases. That's it. You're offering yourself the same gentle wishes you'd offer to someone you care about. If you find it hard to direct this kindness towards yourself, which is super common, try imagining yourself as a small child. Picture that innocent version of you and send these wishes to them. After a few minutes of focusing on yourself, you can expand the circle. Bring a loved one to mind and repeat the phrases for them. Then a neutral person, like a cashier from the grocery store. Finally, if you feel up to it, you can even extend it to someone you find difficult. The practice softens the heart and helps you see the shared humanity in everyone. But always start with yourself. This first step is about filling your own cup So then, step 2, the reinforcement. How do we challenge the inner critic? As you start doing this, it's almost guaranteed your inner critic's going to show up to the party. When you say, "May I be happy?" it might fire back at you. "You don't deserve to be happy." This is totally normal. The key is not to fight it, but to notice it. Your only job here is to notice that voice without getting swept away by it. Think of it like a cloud passing in the sky. You see it, you acknowledge it. Ah, there, that's that voice of inadequacy again. And then you gently guide your focus back to your phrases. You're not inviting it or trying to crush it or deny it. It's just observing without judgment. This is where self-compassion becomes an action. When that harsh thought pops up, you can meet it with kindness. You might silently say to that critical part of yourself, "I hear you. I know you're trying to protect me, but I'm choosing to be kind to myself right now." This approach is transformative. You're not at war with yourself. You're creating a more supportive team inside your own head. By consistently choosing to return to the loving kindness, you are actively weakening the old, worn out neural pathways of self criticism and strengthening the new ones of self compassion. You are teaching your brain a new default setting. Step 3, carry those feelings into your day. The 5-minute practice is your training ground. This final step is about taking that feeling with you into your actual life. The goal is to let this emerging sense of self-worth change how you act. Each day, I want you to pick one small, concrete action that reinforces the message, "I am worthy of care." This doesn't have to be some grand gesture. It could be as simple as taking 5 minutes to drink your coffee without doom scrolling on your phone. It could be setting a boundary by saying no to something that would completely drain you. It could be forgiving yourself for a small mistake instead of beating yourself up about it for hours. Or maybe it's just taking a moment to celebrate a small win. These actions are physical proof to your nervous system that you value yourself. When you feel inadequate, you tend to neglect your own needs. By doing these small acts of self-care, you are living out the answer to that feeling. You're moving from just wishing yourself well to actively treating yourself well. This creates a powerful feedback loop. The meditation builds the feeling of worth, and your actions throughout the day prove it's true. Over time, this becomes second nature. Your sense of adequacy stops being something you have to work for and starts becoming who you are. So that feeling of inadequacy, being invisible and unloved, is not your fault, but healing it is within your power. It's a pattern that has been wired into your brain, and the good news is you hold the tools to rewire it. The solution is this simple 5-minute loving kindness practice, a habit that when you stick with it can physically change your brain. It starts with the foundational act, just sitting for 5 minutes and offering yourself phrases of safety, happiness, health, and ease. Then comes the reinforcement action, noticing your inner critic, and instead of fighting it, meeting it with kindness. And finally, the integration act, carrying that feeling of worth into your day with one small act of self-care. Look, this is a gradual process. It takes patience. Some days will be easier than others, but every time you sit down for those 5 minutes, you are casting a vote for a new way of being. You are telling your deepest self that you are worthy of love, that you are not invisible, and that you are enough exactly as you are. You are one habit away from proving it to yourself. So, if this resonated with you, please hit subscribe for more ways to build real self-worth and create a life you actually love. I'd love to build a community of support right here in the comments. So let me know, what's one thing you're going to do to show kindness to yourself today? Reading through the answers can be a powerful reminder that you are not alone on this path. Thanks for being here. Be well, be gentle, and remember, this is your gentle chapter to write.